Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, July 20th, 2023, and this is Daily Crypto News. Before we get started, I want to say happy birthday to my dad. Pops is 64 years old. Happy birthday, Pops. Let's get into today's headlines. So I didn't report this headline yesterday, even though it came out yesterday, because I don't know, I didn't feel like it was really something to report, but today I feel like it is. Just weird feelings. Anyway, Democratic presidential hopeful Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He has two daring new policies for his eventual administration. The first one is to exempt Bitcoin hodlers from capital gains, and the second one to back the U.S. dollar and treasury bills with a percentage of hard currencies such as gold, platinum, silver, and Bitcoin. Kennedy said that Bitcoin is one of the hardest currencies and is going to encourage its proliferation. He said, "My administration's mission is to make America the hub of cryptocurrency, and particularly Bitcoin." Continuing with U.S. news, as we heard yesterday, Representatives French Hill and Dusty Johnson sent a letter to Chair Gensler saying, basically in summary, and I'm just going to paraphrase this, "Bro, stop regulating by enforcement." They said in the letter that legislation would do more to prevent future collapses of digital asset firms than enforcement actions. A statutory framework would establish a process for firms to come in line with regulatory parameter and comply with consumer protections, rather than relying on enforcement actions to punish bad actors after the damage has already been done. And the reason why I'm telling you this for the second day in a row is because, Gary G, this effing guy, he went to Congress and asked lawmakers, wait for it, he asked lawmakers for $72 million in extra funding to protect investors from crypto markets, which is rife with non-compliance. He said, in quote, "We've seen the wild west of crypto markets, rife with non-compliance, where investors have put hard-earned assets at risk in a highly speculative asset class. With funding to meet the scale of our mission, we can be an even stronger advocate for the American public, investors, and issuers alike." So why am I laughing at this? Because last week, Congress approved to bankroll the SEC with $2.364 billion just for 2024 alone. And he said that's only enough to support currently authorized staffing levels given inflation. The SEC currently employs around 4,685 people, and half of them are focusing on enforcement and examination duties. He said that the additional $72 million will help the agency add 170 positions to its teams. And if you do the math, 72 million divided by 170 positions, that comes out to $423,000 per year per person. So I don't think that he's spending all of this on those people. And if he is, I should be working for the SEC. And so this is honestly preposterous. Because not only did he get $2.364 billion, I looked at some of the largest law firms, multinational law firms in the world. For example, Baker McKenzie is about the same size as the SEC and lower operating expenses and generates billions of dollars a year in revenue. And so what is the SEC? The SEC is basically an enforcement law firm, right? And I think it's very interesting that there are law firms, big, huge multinational law firms with the same amount of people or even more. Actually, Baker McKenzie actually has that many, around 4,600 lawyers on staff or attorneys on staff. However, their total staff count is 13,000 people and they're operating with less budget. And so I don't know what the hell he's asking $72 million for. I think that he's basically saying, Congress, give me the money to show me that you approve of what I'm doing. And he's backing them into a corner. And if they allocate that funding to him, it's basically saying, hey, I got your blessing. You gave me the money. I'm going to continue doing exactly what I'm doing. So I think Congress, please don't give him $72 million more of taxpayers' money after you already gave him $2.364 billion for 2024 alone. What do you think? Email me, bookings@todayinweb3.com. Jumping over the pond to the UK government rejected the House of Commons Treasury Committee's plans to regulate crypto like gambling, saying that there's better proposals better to address the risk posed by events such as the FTX collapse. They said that the government firmly disagrees with the committee's recommendation and continue to say a system of gambling regulation in isolation would be unlikely to address the risk factors such as commingling customers' funds, correcting problems linked to insider tradings, or market manipulation. They continue to say, the recommendation to rely on gambling regulation would represent a fundamental departure from the government's intended approach, which reflects recommendations from global standard-setting bodies. Jumping further east in the world, Kuwait has placed an absolute ban on digital asset mining, payments, and investments, saying that securities regulated by the Central Bank of Kuwait and other securities and financial instruments regulated by the Capital Markets Authority are excluded from this prohibition. Russia could start testing its CBDC in just a few weeks, and this is because a bill granting legal authority to the central bank digital currency passed through the Federation Council. The Federation Council is Russia's legislative body. The bill now requires President Vladimir Putin's signature before coming into effect. If it is signed, tests of the CBDC will start from August 1st. Polygon, they unveiled a series of proposed changes to its existing governance system as part of its transition to Polygon 2.0. The first pillar of the system pertains to protocol governance and will extend the Polygon Improvement Proposal, the PIP framework, beyond the proof-of-stake chain to all blockchains built on Polygon infrastructure. This expansion of the PIP is expected to give the community a formal way to research and propose upgrades. The second pillar concerns system smart contract governance, which will govern how protocol updates are implemented as smart contracts. And the third governance pillar calls for establishing a community treasury which will function as a self-sustainable ecosystem fund. Now, let's get into those crypto prices.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
And the time is 9:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Fear Greed Index is at 56, neutral. Before we get into the prices, I want to let you guys know that Tesla is still hodling its $184 million worth of digital assets. Bitcoin is sitting at $30,237, up 1% in 24. Ethereum is at $1,916, up 0.6%. Tether's number 3, XRP, is at 81.1 cents, up almost 2%, 71% in 7. And Binance is at 244, up 1.2%. Rounding off the top 10, we have USDC, Cardano, Solana, Doge, and Matic. And Matic is sitting at 78.9 cents, up 6.7%. I want to go a little further down the line because I want to talk about Litecoin. But first, Tron is at number 11. Litecoin is at number 12 at 93.79, up 1.1%. And a lot of people online are going, hey, why isn't Litecoin mooning? We're almost at halving. First of all, Litecoin really doesn't moon after the halving. It does go up in price. You do see some price movement, upward movement, by the way. But you never have that all-time high Litecoin. Historically, it's always been with Bitcoin's halving. And even if you do have the Litecoin halving or Bitcoin halving, the higher price doesn't come until significantly after the halving. So the halving happens and then you start counting the months until you see higher highs. So you're not going to see much movement. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. If you're going to ape into Litecoin, you're going to ape into Litecoin. But you're not going to really see that $500 Litecoin that you're hoping for or whatever. You might see some movement up into the hundreds, but you're going to have to wait for the Bitcoin halving. And that was our news today. And until tomorrow, oh, by the way, quickly, tomorrow I will be recording from my brother's house because I'm watching my nephew. So I don't know what time this is going to come out tomorrow or the quality because I'll be using mobile mics. Anyway, until tomorrow, happy hodling, everyone.